speed to offer to your customers. And by that, you can cope with the requirements you have. Obviously, you need more spectrum, but as we have shown before, we have the spectrum. That is the good news. So this is safe, and we are at the moment, which is release 8 and release 9. This is the technology which we have today. So there's still a lot of upgrade coming. You see the speeds which are depicted here. So if you see that, you would say, okay, then why the hell would you go to LTE? Why add another layer of complexity and cost? Good question, and there's a reason for that. Number one, HSPA is already a very mature standard. The first networks I have put into place in 2001. And if you look to the history of mobile, always every 10 years you see basically a refresh being simply necessary because the standard has been exploited. And while we still can improve the standard, the effort to come to release 10 and release 11 is tremendous. And then the question must be put, is it better to invest into this or to step up in the next technology? And again, that's a business case question. You know that the point in time when you do it might be different from country to country, but the message for us is we have the option. Whenever it's right, we will do it. Now, LTE, long-term evolution, 4G, regardless how you want to name it, is a different planet in terms of user experience. If you have a 4G modem or outside there we have the stand and you can try it, the speed is amazing. And even more important than speed is latency. This is the reaction time of the network. When you push a button, how fast it takes in order to come back, Is it click and wait, or is it click boom, And LTE is clearly a click boom standard. For the user, it's amazing. Once you have tried it, you don't want to go back. For us, you see on the other side here, throughput rates go up, and that is not just the beginning. LTE is a new standard. The potential of LTE and the related technology, OFDM, is almost unlimited. We discuss already throughput rates of 1 gigabit per second. I have personally witnessed throughputs of 5 gigabit per second, and this is already 3 years ago in Japan with, at NTT Docomo, 5 gigabits per second in a car running at 40 kilometers per hour. So that is the reason why you change the platform, is to get the new potential. And by doing that, the efficiency increases tremendously. You see on the left-hand side, the downlink spectral efficiency. This says how much use do you make from your valuable investment into spectrum. And the more bits you get per hertz, the more basically you sweat that asset, the more you can get out of that investment. And this can be translated directly in relative cost per bit of transmitted data, as you see on the right-hand side, going down. If 3G was 100, LTE in its current standard is at 20, and the next doubling and quadrupling is coming. So we have this exponential development we need in order to cope with the steep increase on the traffic side without seeing the revenues going up as well. So this is the reason why LTE as a natural evolution going forward is relevant. When is the right point in time? This is not easy to say. It depends from country to country where you are at, where competition is at, and when it's advised from a business case perspective. Now let me come back to spectrum. Why do we have 800, 900, 2600? Of course it would be good to have only one spectrum in the world, but this is a very scarce resource. I don't need to tell you, you know all of that. But it's important to have, again, the option to choose. Low spectrum is very important for coverage. In particular for countries like Sweden, where the population density out of the big cities is relatively sparse, it is not economic to roll out very high spectrum technologies. You see here, if you compare 2.6 gigahertz, which is the high end of the scale, and 800 or 900, which is almost the same, you need 9 times more base station for the same coverage in 2.6 as you would need in 900 or in 800. So for coverage, low spectrum is the best what you can get. But then the question is, why do you need high spectrum? Now, unfortunately, there are also some little disadvantages to low spectrum. In particular, if it comes to high capacities. If you have a big cell, and since the cell is always shared, if many people, if the bigger the cell, the more people could fit in. It's good to have higher spectrum in order to offload the traffic in the same cell. And that everything is seamless. So you can combine, for example, in GSM we have 900 and 1800. In UMTS we can use 900, 2100, 2600. LTE will be available in 9 frequencies. So again, for us, we can choose because we have the spectrum. So we can choose whenever the time is right, whenever the business case is there, when the competition requires and the customer demands. We can deliver the networks we need. And how can that work? And there is another good news. When I started in my career, then for every new technology, you needed a new 19-inch rack. Even new spectrum 19-inch rack. These days, all the technologies are in one box, pizza box. It's called software-defined radio. You buy a 900 megahertz base station, as we do in Sweden. Per software, you define whether it's GSM or LTE or a combination of both. And the latter one is another big opportunity we have. If you look to the right-hand side, for example, in 1800, and that's an opportunity for Russia, if you have whatever, 10, 15, 20 megahertz of spectrum, you can take a slice out of that and say, I put LTE into that spectrum and offer higher speed mobile broadband than Edge can deliver. And as capacity require, stepwise you increase. And this is one of the big advantages, again, of LTE compared to UMTS. UMTS, you always need 5 megahertz. LTE can go down to 1.2 megahertz as the thinnest slice. So you can start with 1.2, 2.8, 4.6, you like it, even 12 point something, that is possible. Again, it gives us a choice to select the right technology at the right point in time to be competitive in the market. And it's a great opportunity. It's valid for all frequency bands. You can today have in one base station 2G, 3G, and 4G. It's possible. As long as in one frequency band, it's even not additional hardware. It's the same antenna, no additional hardware. 2 different frequency band, you have twice the hardware. All of these choices and all of the local conditions in the various markets we have taken in order to develop the roadmaps for the various markets. Here, an example given for Sweden. And into that, obviously, device availability plays a crucial role, like, for example, for our rollout in 4G here. So we can only launch a 4G in 900 if there are devices in 900, and the good news is there are devices in 900, and we have them already. So we do for every market what is necessary in order to meet our ambition, namely to provide the lowest cost networks with no compromise on quality to our markets, and being competitive and deliver to the business what's necessary in order to gain the market shares we have, which we are looking for. Now, everything of that is nothing if you don't have the right IT support. And I don't want to make an IT session now, but I just wanted to mention here that as we move on the network side, in my opinion, with a great strategy from country to country, at the same point in time, we revamp our IT infrastructure with 4 main focus areas. One is overhaul of billing systems, which was required because Tele2 has various histories in different markets, various companies coming together. And so there were different systems out there. We are merging that, also fixed and mobile. So that is being done. Same point in time, CRM solution is being done. We start in Sweden, but whatever we do, we use as a platform for the group in order to leverage as much as possible our group synergies. And from a group and you see, we introduce in Russia, central market area, also in Netherlands, some of these software. And from a central perspective, a